Welcome to Celestial Insights, a weekly podcast that brings the stars down to earth. I'm your host, astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks. My purpose is to provide practical, unique, and insightful guidance to help you navigate the energies of the week like a boss. Hello, this is Celeste of Astrology by Celeste, and on this episode, I will discuss the astrology for the week of February 1st, 2026. There is still time to join the Proper Care and Feeding of Your Moon course. Our first live Q&A is today, and this class is a beautiful way to reconnect with your emotional and intuitive rhythms, especially right now as we are moving into eclipse season, a time of emotional agitation and upheaval. You'll discover your moons by sign, house, and aspect, and learn how it shapes the way you nurture yourself, process feelings, and move through change. You'll also receive a daily moon insights journal so you can track the lunar energy and your own inner world day by day. If you've been craving more emotional clarity and grounding, this is your invitation to join me. You can check out the link in the show notes or go to astrologybyceleste.com. The theme of this week is the Prince and the Revolution. And there are three big things I want you to think about as you navigate this week. First up, we have a full moon at 13 degrees of Leo today, directly opposite an Aquarius pileup, where the Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, and Pluto are all in the sign of Aquarius. This is not our typical Leo full moon. We have not seen this concentration of Aquarian energy since the 1960s. A time of enormous social movings, uprisings, and collective awakenings. This is a moment where the individual, and Leo speaks to how we personally express ourselves. Aquarius is the system. This is a moment of individuals standing face to face with the system. Leo is the heart, courage, self-expression, the sign of the sovereign self. One of the stories that we're still going to be talking about is the Neptune in Aries event, where Alex Preddy, a VA nurse from Minneapolis, was murdered in the streets by the immigration organization, and it has caused outrage. Now, Leo is the sign of celebrity, visibility, and public figures. The first one I saw break out and speak about this event was Glenn Close, but more and more celebrities and people who have an amplified voice on the public stage are talking about how this is unacceptable. Even the NRA is talking about it. I call Neptune in Aries Pop the Balloon, where the Kool-Aid no longer works. The propaganda, the administration right after this happened started lying about this man, assaulting his character. And what he did was he was just documenting what was going on with his phone, which is legal. Americans have a First Amendment right to protest. Alex Preddy is the mythic hero that rose as Neptune moved from 29 Pisces to 0 Aries. And it's one of the stories of eclipse season. When the sign of Leo is activated this strongly, the spotlight is on who is seen, who is heard, and who is brave enough to stand in their truth. Also, who decides to remain silent. More and more people are demanding people to take a stand on this issue. Aquarius represents the group, systems, technology, the collective. And this full moon is asking us, who are you when the group is watching? We can think about how Leo is the performer or how you express yourself, and Aquarius is the audience. Who are you when it costs you something to speak? There is going to be immense pressure on people, especially public figures, to speak about what is happening in the United States. We are in a time where the abuse of power is no longer an abstract. Now, what we are witnessing is something many Black communities have known for centuries. I saw a post circulating that said, would you hide Anne Frank or would you turn her in? That's the heart of this full moon. Now add in Saturn and Pisces, but it's without Neptune. So this really changes the emotional field because Neptune has moved into Aries. And Pisces without Neptune can really lose empathy. And Neptune in Aries brings this passion, but without patience, reflection, and intensity, without some of the compassion. Aries can be impulsive. It's a fire sign. It pushes the energy out. It's a spiritual warrior. Now, Mars and Pluto, they're still conjunct in Aquarius, although it is separating. The seminal event when Mars met Pluto on January 27th, one of the things that I see in the news is that ice is going to the Winter Olympics in Italy in order to provide security. And Italians are outraged. I wonder if we'll see a reversal of this. But people are very concerned about this group that just kills people recklessly being in their country. And collectively, this will be really interesting to see what happens at the Olympics. We are watching systems be challenged and rejected. We're seeing global resistance, economic shifts, and conversations about boycotts as accountability grows louder. Many countries are boycotting the United States because of what is going on here and how the president and this administration is bullying other countries. Canada, Greenland, Venezuela, Panama, Denmark have been getting a lot of the brunt, but it's impacting the whole world. And we're a couple of weeks out from a solar eclipse in Aquarius that will land on the USA moon square Uranus. Uranus is rejection, rupture. The people are saying no more. Will Americans be booed at the Olympics? Or if ice is there, what will be the reaction from the crowd? This is going to be a reckoning of values. Now let's look at the moon phase family, these 27-month cycles where a story can be seeded, and every 9 months there can be a pivot point. The new moon of this cycle, where the sun and moon were both at 12 degrees of Leo, was on August 4th, 2024. And the next day there was a big controversy at the Paris Summer Olympics when Jordan Childs, it was very Virgo, and Mercury was retrograde in Virgo. Her medal was taken away, and she is currently fighting to keep this medal. She's a gymnast. And at the first quarter moon, the sun was in Taurus, the moon was in Leo, both at 14 degrees on May 4th, 2025. Now we're at the full moon where all is illuminated. The sun in Aquarius and the moon in Leo, both at 13 degrees on February 1st, 2026. Jordan Childs has just this week been the highest scorer at the all-around competition in the U.S. 18 months after this event, which was just horrible, where her score was challenged. It's all very technical, but it was just heartbreaking to see this young woman's medal be taken away from her. Although she still has the physical medal, And now we're at a Winter Olympics. And the reputation of the United States is so much different than it was back then. Back then, Snoop Dogg was a big hit in Paris. Now, I think we're going to be seeing, especially watch what happens at the Olympics on February 17th, how the U.S. is going to be treated at the Olympics based on what is going on. Now, the last quarter moon of this cycle, 9 months from now, will be in November 1st of 2026, where the sun is in Scorpio, the moon is in Leo, both at 9 degrees. So really watch as you see stories of the special one versus the collective, the people, how you keep yourself quiet because you may be concerned about what the reaction of the group would be, or how you don't care and speak your truth anyway. And notice seeing who stands up to speak about human rights versus speaks about you just need to do what you're told, what the state tells you to do, no matter what. And answer the question for yourself. Would you hide Anne Frank or would you turn her in? I love the Wise Guys digital astrology calendar. It puts the astrology right in the palm of your hand. Planetary transits, moon phases, and retrogrades, so you can plan with the cosmos, not against them. I use it to choose the best times for vacations, work projects, launches, and rest days. You'll get clear daily guidance and some links to deeper resources so that you always know what's happening and how to work with it. My collaborator and friend Tiffany Herlick adds more to it each year. Grab the 2026 digital astrology calendar with my coupon code ABC2026 for a $10 discount. The link is in the show notes. The next thing I want to make you aware of is that Uranus is stationing direct this Tuesday. And when a planet changes directions, we don't just feel it on the exact day. Usually about 5 days before and after, the energy is most intense. And because this is happening under this Leo full moon, the energy is going to be magnified, and Leo can be dramatic. So there can be some dramatic events happening. Whenever a planet changes directions, you can expect delays, reversals, the collapse of something contemplated. And I wonder if that collapse will be, part of it will be ice going to the Winter Olympics. Now, Uranus is stationing at 27 degrees of Taurus for the last time before it leaves Taurus for 84 years on April 25th for Gemini. And it's finishing up a cycle that began in 2018. Look at your chart. Where is Uranus transiting? What house? What has happened over the last 7 years? Taurus rules resources, money, values. It's an earth sign. So you may feel this in the body, specifically the throat, and think about the throat chakra and speaking your truth. It rules aviation, the earth, and pleasure. Uranus is a disruptor. It brings shock, ruptures, rejection, and events that feel sudden, disruptive, sometimes obscene or unspeakable. It doesn't negotiate. Uranus just snaps things suddenly. And so when it changes directions in Taurus, we may be seeing sudden economic shifts, surprise boycotts, or the boycott just really starts to get louder. I think we're going to be seeing stories about the boycott of the United States getting louder and more organized. I really enjoy Professor Scott Galloway, and he's talked about how we need to shut down this move towards authoritarianism, and the sooner the better. We have limited time. And he's recommending that people take an economic action against the tech companies where people cut their streaming services, cancel Amazon, cancel some AI services because they are what is propping up the economy. In Denmark, there is an app which is very Aquarian, Aquarius Rules technology, where you can scan a product and it will tell you if it's made in the US and even giving it a score so that people can actively reject in a Uranian fashion US goods because of their values and what's going on with their territory of Greenland. Now, we also have Mercury in Aquarius squaring Uranus. This will bring some shocking headlines, viral revelations, and disruptive information. Mercury-Uranus often coincides with unexpected disclosures, stories that feel disturbing, and narratives that pull the curtain back on what has been hidden. This is very Eyes Wide Shut. This is a movie by Stanley Kubrick that starred Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise. And this really feels like we may be hearing something very shocking of a sexual nature. And there's a quality to this energy about secrets, power, and taboo material being exposed. Maybe this is not it. Maybe it's later, but there's something very domination and submission coming out into the collective. I think something very unsettling is coming into public awareness. It may not be right now, but it's going to be before eclipse season is over. Now, at the same time that Uranus stations direct, the sun is on a world point of 15 Aquarius. There will be something that occurs that gets a lot of attention of an Aquarian nature. Aquarius rules powerful groups like Congress and Parliament. I think we're going to hear big tech news. There is the potential for digital disruptions. So make sure everything is charged. There could be sudden technology and power failures. If you're traveling, there can be delays. Pay attention to any news you hear about this new Nipah virus. It's a problem in India right now, but China is screening people for it. This feels reminiscent of what we went through in COVID, and lockdowns happened when Mars and Saturn met in Aquarius, and this virus made worldwide news when Mars and Pluto met in Aquarius. Aquarius is a sign associated with aviation, and its ruler is Uranus, currently in Taurus. Taurus has to do with land boundaries. So there may be places in the world that go into lockdown in association with this solar eclipse in Aquarius, square Uranus. And then Saturn and Neptune meet at 0 degrees of Aries. Aries rules the head, eyes, ears. This virus causes brain swelling. So there were a couple of things about this virus that made me think Saturn and Neptune in Aries, which is associated with weakness of structures, including those that are physical. When transiting Saturn makes an aspect to your natal Neptune, or transiting Neptune to your natal Saturn, this can be an indication of a health aspect. Not always, but it's a classic one, because Neptune rules weakness. It dissolves things. And Saturn is a destroyer. It has associations with illnesses. When Saturn was on my Neptune, I got food poisoning. So just be aware that this virus is an issue and they're working in India to contain it. But keep this in mind if you're planning any travel across borders. I'm always recommending that people have cancellation insurance in case. So just be aware that there can be disruptions right around this time. Uranus also rules lightning strikes, explosions, earthquakes, assassinations, and sudden accidents. Aquarius rules the ankles and the shins. If your Achilles tendon is really tight, think about doing some extra stretches. I have noticed my calves are extra tight, and I am rolling my feet out. Give yourself extra time with traveling. Avoid impulsive spending. Slow down before making sudden decisions. And it's really important because it's the last time this is happening, where Uranus stations direct in fixed sign Taurus, where it doesn't like to be. Uranus wants to move fast like a lightning bolt. Taurus is fixed Earth, and it is conjunct the fixed star Algol, which is associated with intense collective emotion. And I'm really interested to see what is going on with Iran. Iran's natal moon, which rules the people, is at 28 Taurus. So this is happening on their moon. We know that they are having this revolution there. Uranus rules revolutions, and tens of thousands of people have been killed. So we may be seeing intensity in their fight for freedom. So this is a very volatile moment. It's a turning point. I think the prince in the title is speaking about the prince in Iran, but maybe not. Prince, the musician, is from Minneapolis, and Prince in the Revolution was the name of one of his bands. His soundtrack is the soundtrack of this eclipse season. So many of his records really speak to what's going on right now. Let's Go Crazy keeps coming into my head. When Doves Cry, Sign of the Times. The song 7 is such a karmic number. Uranus stays 7 years in a sign. Saturn comes and talks to us every 7 years. The last thing I want to make you aware of is that Mercury will enter the sign of Pisces from February 6th through April 14th. Normally, Mercury spends about 3 weeks in a sign, but because it goes retrograde 3 times a year and it's going retrograde in Pisces, it will spend much longer here. It will be retrograde from February 26th through March 20th. Mark these dates on your calendar. It's going to move from 22 Pisces on the 26th back to 8 Pisces on March 20th. So your chart is going to get 3 coats of paint in that part of your chart between 8 and 22 degrees of Pisces. You may start seeing stories showing up after February 11th. That's when Mercury enters the shadow. But I would just be aware for the whole transit. Whatever house Pisces occurs in your chart, this is where the story is going to unfold. You may also see things happening where you have Mercury in your natal chart located. So for myself, I have Mercury in the 11th house and Pisces in the 9th house. So I'm going to see stories related to those 2 houses. Mercury is in detriment in the sign of Pisces. Pisces is a beautiful sign, which is compassionate, creative, and empathetic. But on the shadow side, it rules deception, escapism, addiction, confusion, and distortion. And this is going to be a transit where lies unravel and truth is going to come out. The murder of Alex Pretty in Minneapolis and the immediate attempts to misrepresent, demonize him, and all that I mentioned earlier is a turning point in the U.S. I wonder what will come to surface at this time about that, as well as the Epstein files. Now, Mercury enters its retrograde shadow on February 11th. So that's when small glitches, miscommunications, and strange signs may be beginning to appear. So also be aware of that date, because during the retrograde, if anything goes wrong around that time, it could come back into your conscious attention. During this time, people may have less to say. Water signs are mute, and can be a sense of withdrawal or silence, maybe at the Olympics. Like an American is on the podium and people would normally clap and they're just silent. That could be something we're seeing. And notice what's happening when we move from 29 degrees of Aquarius to 0 degrees of Pisces. The energy shifts from loud, mental, electric, connective to quiet, emotional, and internal. This can be corresponding with digital fatigue, censorship. All of a sudden, more and more things are no longer allowed to be said online. People are quitting TikTok because of its silencing of voices. Notice if you feel like you need to just log off during this transit, this is a time to be extra careful with intoxicants, medications, and substances. Because Mercury in Pisces, it's in its detriment. Boundaries can be blurred. Our judgment can be impaired. It just can't express its energy. And Mercury wants to communicate in this mutable water sign. It's just more difficult because Mercury in Pisces can sometimes speak in pictures rather than straightforward words. But there will be scandals coming to light, information being revealed. It's not only about exposure, though. It's about listening inward. Once we go retrograde, it's a great time to nurture your intuitive voice. Consider pulling a tarot card each moment. You can go to my shop on astrologybyceleste.com, and I have recommended decks. This is a great time to journal your dreams or pay attention to what feels true. And it's not a time to rush forward. It's a time to go within and slow down and listen closely. One of my greatest pleasures is mentoring astrology enthusiasts and professionals who want to deepen their craft. If you're building your skills or refining your approach, we can work together one-on-one to strengthen your chart interpretation, timing techniques, client readiness, and your confidence in putting it all together. You can schedule a single session or choose a mentoring package for ongoing guidance. Details are at astrologybyceleste.com on the services page. On Sunday, the word of the day is cancel. The Leo moon will oppose Mars in Aquarius at 7 degrees. Mars severs and separates. Leo rules entertainment. So this is like somebody canceling their streaming service. There is a full moon on this day at 13 degrees of Leo at 2:08 p.m. Pacific time. A great time to think about how you use your voice, how you express yourself, what brings you joy. Can you nurture your inner child? Have some fun. Leo energy is very playful, but really notice what surfaces about yourself versus the group. And look to your chart. Where do you have Leo and Aquarius? What two houses is it across? This is where you will be having illumination. Full moons are a time to celebrate any wins. Emotions are heightened and release what is no longer serving you, but there will always be illumination if you are paying attention. On Monday, the word of the day is breakup. The Leo moon opposes Venus and Mercury, the planets of values and communication, partnerships, and the Leo moon will square Uranus in Taurus at 27 degrees, both of the signs. So this is like a sudden disruption of something. This as well feels like there may be news about a big company breaking up or celebrities breaking up. Celebrities are Leo figures. And Mercury and Aquarius is sextile Chiron in Aries, both at 23 degrees. Aquarius and Aries are both yang signs. Chiron's a wounded healer, so there can be a potential of wounding or healing with this energy. This is a day to really be mindful of your surroundings. When Mercury and Chiron are talking, people are more likely to get into conflict. Sextiles bring opportunities, and Mercury takes on the nature of what it's talking to. So just watch your words. The Virgo Moon begins at 7:20 p.m. Pacific time. So this is a big energetic shift. What do you need to clean up? Virgo's job is to bring order to chaos that happened under the Leo Moon. This could be like there was a party and you have to clean up after the party. Or when Mercury sextile Chiron, you said something you shouldn't have said, and then you got to figure out how do you clean this mess up. Or you twisted your ankle and now you got to get an H bandage. These are the things that can be happening as the moon switches from Leo to Virgo. Virgo is mutable earth. It's a great time to think about how you can get organized. Do the mundane tasks of life that you would rather not do, but make life so much easier and run more smoothly. On Tuesday, the word of the day is an obscenity. The Virgo moon meets the south node at 9 degrees of Virgo. And Mars in Aquarius is quincunx the south node. Somebody could be getting really mouthy, and the things flying out of their mouths are things that are unspeakable, as Uranus stations direct on this day at 27 degrees and 27 minutes of Taurus. So look at your chart. Where is that in your chart? Is there anything in Taurus that could be this like obscenity coming up within yourself? Opposite is Scorpio. You may see someone outside on the street shouting. Oppositions come in from other people. So if you have anything around 27 Scorpio, and Leo and Aquarius are the other fixed signs. And then if you have something around there, there can be internal themes of upheaval, disruption, desire to tell somebody to say some things that may be best to be kept in your head. On Wednesday, the word of the day is martyr, and this is Venus in Aquarius, sextile Chiron in Aries, both at 23 degrees. Venus rules relationships, and Aquarius is a sign of friends. So you may be hearing some story about a friend who was healing after a difficult relationship. The Virgo moon opposes Saturn now at 29 degrees of Pisces. Virgo can be perfectionistic, and Saturn can be oppressive, and having someone feeling like, I did this and I shouldn't have. It can also be a time where you need to tell someone to come off the cross if you have a little kid and they're just acting like, oh, woe is me, and they're feeling like they're a martyr. So it'll be interesting to see what we see on this day with this energy. Very Joan of Arc. On Thursday, the word of the day is shocking. The moon enters Libra at 1:32 a.m. Pacific time. This is cardinal air. Libra's job is to partner. It rules balance. The tarot card is justice. And on this day, Mercury in Aquarius will square Uranus and Taurus, both at 27 degrees. And the disseminating moon starts at 1 Libra, which is the midheaven of the United States. So it'll be really interesting to see how this shows up. It could be a legal judgment that is surprising or shocking, or someone filing a case. The president is represented by the U.S. midheaven. Who knows what will be coming out of his mouth? The sun in Aquarius, quincunx Jupiter in Cancer at 16 degrees. quincunxes move us into new situations where we have to release and let go of something. The sun is a leader. Aquarius rules the group. This could be CEO gets fired and the official line is that they need to take care of their family, or someone resigns from Congress or Parliament, or the excuse is they need to take care of their family. But a leader could be going away. Maybe the leader in Iran, he's talk about him going into exile in Turkey. And that would make sense because Friday, the word of the day is liberate. The Libra Moon makes a hammer of Thor with Mercury in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. And the hammer of Thor can knock the top off of mountains. It's a chart pattern. And the moon, which rules the people, will be square Mercury on one side, Uranus on the other, and Mercury and Uranus are squaring each other. So the people pick up the hammer and knock the top off the mountain. And the Iran natal chart has a Virgo midheaven, and that's ruled by Mercury. Mercury moves into Pisces at 2:47 p.m. Pacific time and moves from Aquarius to Pisces into the sign of its detriment. And it's fall. Traditionally, Pisces is the sign of Mercury's detriment, and fall, Virgo is the sign of its home and exaltation. So this could be symbolic of that leader having to leave. On Saturday, the word of the day is shadows. The Scorpio moon begins at 11:12 a.m. Pacific time. Scorpio is deep waters. It is a sign of death and rebirth. It rules our shadows, the things about ourselves we'd rather disown, whether we are vengeful or jealous or like to hoard resources. Venus in Aquarius is squaring Uranus, but it doesn't perfect till Sunday the 8th. This could be an intense energy of wanting freedom. There can be people who are rescued from a situation where they were being held captive. Could be something that happens. This could be someone who is in an abusive relationship, decides to leave and go to a friend's house. Like they say, no more, I can't take this anymore. Or someone comes out of the shadows and talks about how they were in an abusive relationship. Remember, we're still under that Leo full moon, so it could be a celebrity or someone well known. So just notice what you're hearing, what you're seeing, what shadow energies come up in yourself. This is energy of rising from the ashes. The phoenix rises from the ashes. So that's it for this week's episode. Feel free to email me at celeste@astrologybyceleste.com with any astrology and action stories, or let me know how the daily themes are playing out for you. Take care. I'll catch you next week. Join the Proper Care and Feeding of the Moon course if you feel like this could be of help to you. Thank you for listening to Celestial Insights. To learn more about my work, please visit my website, astrologybyceleste.com, where I offer personal readings, horary consultations, cosmic coaching, group events, and classes to help guide people to higher levels of fulfillment. You can also find me on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, and Facebook at Astrology by Celeste. If you enjoyed Celestial Insights, please help others find the show. Follow, rate it 5 stars, or write a nice review. I would so appreciate it. I'm astrologer, coach, and intuitive Celeste Brooks, and I'll be back next week.